announce the speaker.
Thank you. Please welcome Toastmaster Jawahar. Toastmaster Jawahar, 1,000 lengths, Toastmaster Jawahar.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. The master was sitting inside the room. The disciple was waiting outside, wondering what it would take for the master to reveal the secret. It has been so many weeks since the master moved into the disciple's house, and ever since then, the relationship between them have transformed in many ways, from an everlasting friendship to an unexplainable love, and then to a new dimension of spiritual bonding, which is way beyond the world. But yet, the master still have not revealed the secret. The disciple is losing his patience. And that day he decided that he is going to walk into the room and ask his master, tell me the secret. Or what is it I have to do to learn the secret? Even before the disciple uttered a single word, the master looked at the disciple and said, if you want to learn the secret, I want you to take an action without any question and without any hesitation. The master then went on to say, in broad daylight, in front of all the crowd, I want you to walk toward a tavern and buy a bottle of alcohol and walk back in the vicinity of every single person in the town. The disciple was shocked. He had a great image in the town. People look at him as a spiritual leader, a man with great stature, and he was devastated, but still he could not deny his master's ask. So he walked towards to the tavern, bought himself a bottle of wine, and began walking back. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is not the 21st century where if you are a drunkard, you automatically become a spiritual leader. Here we are talking about 1,000 years back. While he's walking back, the entire people all around were shocked. Many were displeased. They were looking at him and cursing at him. Some were even telling that someone had cast a spell on him. This man was sobbing and crying. The image which he has built all throughout his life has been shattered into pieces. As he approached the house, the master was standing and smiling at his disciple. He went on to say, the respect, the honor, the stature, and all of this pride that you're having within yourself is just an illusion. People are judgmental and their perspective changes within a click of a second. The disciple was shocked. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what happened that day with that society is, it is a single lens through which they looked into every single people in the town without understanding their background, their history, their purpose of their action. And isn't that what we continue to do until today? I myself have had that experience. I come from a coastal region where we have multiple rivers and we have a sea. One fine day, when I was sitting in my house, just watching a wonderful movie, a friend of mine suddenly called me and said, hey, shall we go for fishing? I've never went for fishing before, and that was the first time. And I thought that I'm going to experience how good fishing is going to be. So we walked to a nearby river and I watched him fishing with a rod. We were so lucky in the first few minutes itself that we caught a huge fish. And he carried that fish and put it on the floor while he went on to fish again. So I was looking at this fish struggling for its life. And by passing every second, it is beginning to lose its hope for survival. I looked at my friend and said that let's put this fish back into the water. I don't feel like having it. I don't think I can eat this fish. So we argued for a very short period of time until the fish almost died, but then we decided we are going to take that fish and put it back into the water. And we did it. And we saw the fish swimming happily through into the water. That night, I was so happy to have saved a life. Or is it because I didn't kill a life? I don't know which one of those two is, but I felt so happy. I became so judgmental that killing animals is so cruel, whether it be fishing, whether it be hunting or slaughtering. But then this thought of mine did not last long. Sea and oceans teach us a lot more lesson than land does. One day, one fine morning, I was sitting in the beach And it was an amazing winter morning. The fishermen were ready to go out for fishing. And I walked over to a fisherman and asked, may I accompany you into the sea? And he said it will take about 4 to 5 hours to return back. I said, absolutely fine, I'll join you. So I also set off in the boat and we went into the sea. The man was catching hundreds and hundreds of fish and piling it up inside his boat. I kept looking at those fishes, and my thought went back a few years back when I was able to save a single fish. But here I'm not in a circumstance to put all of them back. I don't have the authority to do it. I looked at the fisherman and I asked, you have been doing this for so many years. Have you ever for one moment felt a bit of a sympathy for these fishes? Have you ever thought that you are murdering thousands and thousands of lives? This man looked at me, smiled at me, and said, you look at it as life. I look at it as my livelihood. There's a total different perspective between you and me. I have been fishing. My father, my forefather, my ancestors, our generations have been fishing. In this part of the land, we can't cultivate vegetables. We harvest more in the sea than we can harvest in the land. And what we harvest in the sea, we take it inland, we sell them. We eat the fish. And from the fish that we sell, we buy the goods for my family. This is my livelihood. When I went back home, this was a very interesting discussion that I had with the fisherman. And a lot of thoughts began to roll in my mind. Was it my mistake that I was wearing the same single lens and looking at everything all around me without considering their background, their history, their geography, their surroundings, their circumstance, and the purpose of the action? One man killed for entertainment, the other one killed for survival. There's a total different perspective. And this is exactly what we all do in our day-to-day life, wearing the same single lens and watch everything all around us. Today, we debate about Mahatma Gandhi is a good man or not. 70 years have passed and we still argue whether he is a good man or not. But we have never been in that timeline. We have not seen what he had gone through. We do not know what are the people surrounding him and what is the purpose of his action. But today we debate whether he's a right man or a wrong man. We even debate over incidents 1,000 years back about invasions, when we don't even know the culture of the people, how barbaric they were, what they were looking for, the purpose of their action. But yet we argue over it and fight today over it, simply because we are wearing the same lens. That day I decided to take out that single lens of mine and throw it into the garbage and buy myself 1,000 different lenses. And each lens will give me a new perspective of things happening all around me. Toastmasters and guests, I have my 1,000 lenses. How about you? Toastmaster today.